All right. Hi, everyone. So today we're gonna be coming back to biology. As I think I've said in the past, we've done. I have studied the nervous system before, so hopefully it's a little bit of an easier day. Hopefully, I'm hoping, but obviously, no guarantees. Um, I probably shouldn't even have said that because it could very easily be held against me. Some of you might look at me and be like, "He studied this." Yes, I'm so like unfortunately the knowledge fades every time I take a class. It genuinely does go away. But hopefully some of the repetition makes that not it's not gonna just come to me, but it'll probably make it easier. It'll probably go down with less like friction. Um, and yeah. Uh, all right. So let me see. Yeah. So like I looked at it already. It's some of it looks simpler. Some parts of it look simpler than others. Some parts of it look like I should know what it is. Hopefully some cards end up getting suspended today. We always look for cards to get suspended. That's my favorite thing, and my favorite thing to see is a suspended card. Um, I'm not here to lie to you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I love doing every card, because that's just not true. Less cards, the less cards, the better. But the more knowledge, the better. So we just need our balance of both. All right. So I'm gonna try to do this with the least amount of zone outs possible. I know that I do that sometimes. I genuinely just zone out sometimes. I'll try to. I'm trying to stay away from that. Um, all right. So uh, let's get moving. Um, all right. Uh, what the? Okay. Two main divisions: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. You know what we call this one? Suspend. First card. That's a great first card. I really love that. I was waiting for me to come on stream because I looked at the cards. I always look through the cards to see what we want to do for the day. I was waiting on that. That tastes so good. What is the central nervous system? It consists of the brain and the spinal system. I don't know if yeah. That's pretty much like I know that. I don't need. I'm gonna do a little suspend. You know what I'm saying? What are the two components of the set? That was literally the last card. I don't need this card either. Suspend. What is the peripheral nervous system? Is all of the nerves, or like all the entire nervous system excluding the brain and nervous system. Nerves and ganglia outside the brain and spinal cord. Okay. I'll leave that there. The two components of the peripheral nervous system. It's gonna be. Is it? I think I saw a card similar to this earlier. Is it like somatic and autonomic or something? Ooh, oof. I told you guys. I told you. We got to start off strong at least. Like I got to know at least the basics. Are neurons the only type of cell in the nervous system? Um. No. Uh. There are glial cells, which are also yeah. What are the four types of neuroglia? I know we're gonna have astrocytes, microglia. I think one starts with a D. Oh, damn. Astrocytes, microglia, ep, ependymal. Let me see how you pronounce that. Uh, ependymal pronunciation. Ependymal. Yeah, that's how I said it. Okay, cool. So, all right. Astrocytes, ependymal, microglia, oligodendrocytes. That's what I was. I think I was thinking of oligodendrocytes when I said there's one that starts with a D. It's the nerves and ganglia outside of the central nervous system. What is the function of astrocytes? Astrocytes, I think they might function to clean up, to repair, uh, something like that. Nourish neurons and form the blood-brain barrier. They definitely have more functions than that, but we're just gonna pretend like this is the only knowledge I have. Nourish neurons and form the blood-brain barrier. What is the function? Oh, because astrocytes, we just gotta pair the A with the B's. Mm. Blood-brain barrier. What is the function of ependymal cells? Line the to line the ventricles and produce CSF. What is the purpose of what it produces? Okay. Line the ventricles and produce CSF. Um, what is the function of ependymal cells? To line the ventricles and produce CSF. CSF is cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. I didn't look that up. I just need y'all to know that. What is okay, so it's gonna be astrocytes, ependymal cells, microglia, and oligodendrocytes. Um, what is the function? To nourish neurons and to form the blood-brain barrier. Oh, in case it wasn't clear earlier, the A is astrocytes. That's what I meant. Um, okay. What is the function of microglia? Phagocytotic cells that deal with waste products and pathogens in the CNS. What are the okay, so there's Schwann cells and there's I think these might be the oligodendrocytes. Yes. Nice. What are the myelin? These are the Schwann cells. For sure. What is the function of the cell body? Um uh I mean, at host is gonna be the place where all the proteins are produced. Um, the place where the vesicles, I think the vesicles might be made here. The vesicles with like the neurotransmitters. Is it made there? Housing for the nucleus and most organelles. Okay, I was thinking too deep. What is the function of ependymal cells? What is the purpose of what it produces? Um, so ependymal cells are gonna produce CSF. Um, mm, D, E, and then F. What comes before? Like you just kind of, I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to think because C, F. I don't know. I just like, I make any connection possible. All right. So, what is the function of ependymal cells? Uh, I think. Oh, it lines the ventricle. Yeah, it lines the ventricles and produces CSF. Which like serves as a shock absorber for the brain. What is the function of microglia? Microglia. Um, what is the function of microglia? It is. Oh, it gets rid of waste in the CNS. waste and pathogens. Phagocytotic cells that deal with waste and pathogens. Okay. What is the function of cell body? It houses the nucleus and the other organelles in the neuron. What is the function of the dendrites? The dendrites are gonna have like the channels for receiving like neuronal signals, as well as like the receptors. Specialized appendages from the soma that receive incoming signals. Dendrites only receive; they do not send signals. I don't really know how to word that, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. Good enough for me. What is the function of the dendrites? Do they only receive? Okay. Special appendages from the soma. Specialized appendages that receive incoming signals. Okay. This is gonna be the somatic and the autonomic. What is the peripheral nervous system? The peripheral nervous system is all the nerves and ganglia outside of the central nervous system. What is the function of microglia? Microglia are um, microglia. Uh, they phagocytotic cell that clear waste products and pathogens in the CNS. I thought that's accurate. What is the function of the axon hillock? That's where the action potential begins. Okay. What is the function of the axon? It's to transmit the signal from the dendrites to the axon terminal. The signal generated by axon hillock to activate a target structure. What is the function of the dendrites? The dendrites are going to receive the signal, specialized appendages from the soma that receive signal. Two functions of myelin. Um, Myelin is used for generating force and also for creating the sheaths to help conduct, um, to allow for the conduction of signals. It provides like insulate the axon, and to speed up conduction. Why is it giving the definition for myelin? Is there another card that defines myelin so that I can just remove that? Let me see. I could have sworn I saw it, but it doesn't want to pop up now. Where is it? What is myelin? I remember seeing it. Is it in like endocrine or something? Like, where is this? What? Why is it not here? All right, I guess. Um, okay, all right. We'll just combine it into one card. All right. Um, Again. Uh, what is the function of the axon hillock? It's to generate the action potential to activate a target structure. Oh. Uh, I don't give myself hard because I feel like it does eventually activate it, but it's just not responsible for it. What is the function of astrocytes? It's gonna form the blood-brain barrier and nourish the brain. Oh damn, nourish neurons. Damn. Myelin-producing cells, oligodendrocytes. What is the function of the axon? The function of the axon is to transmit conduct the signal down from the cell soma to the axon terminal and then to a target structure from there. We have astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, ependymal cells, and astrocytes, ependymal, oligodendrocytes, and this is literally the one that I knew, microglia. Damn, that was kind of hard. I was really gonna press 10 minutes on that one because I thought I had it. Are neurons the only type of, no, there's glial cells. What is myelin? Myelin is like a fatty white substance that surrounds like neurons. What are the two functions? It's gonna provide insulate the axon and to quicken the conduction speed of signals down the axon. Speed up. Yeah, that's one way of saying it too. What is the function of astrocytes? It's going to nourish neurons and nourish neurons and what's it called? Uh, nourish neurons and form the blood-brain barrier. That wasn't because I didn't know it. That was because I zoned out. What is the function of the axon? Uh, the function of the axon is to conduct signals down from the axon hillock to the target structure. More like the axon terminal. It just conducts a signal, bro. Like, I don't know what else. I don't think it really needs much else, bro. What is the function of the cell body? The function of the cell body is to house the nucleus and other organelles. What is the function of the nodes of Ranvier? Um, these are essentially how the signal is being the actual potential is being propagated. So once it reaches a certain amount of signal, then it's going to each it's going to travel some way before opening a voltage gated channel that's going to allow more like sodium to come in, and then it's just going to keep propagating that down, maintain signal intensity / speed during propagation. Yeah. What is the function of the axon terminals? The function of the axon terminals is to release neurotransmitter, or this is where the signal is propagated over to another neuron or another something else. Filled with neurotransmitters, receive signal from axon and release appropriate number of neurotransmitters. Usually the axon will branch out into several axon terminals. I feel like I'm not gonna say all that. That just doesn't. I don't think I need to say that. What is the function of microglia? Microglia, um, microglia are um, microglia are damn. Microglia. They're gonna remove waste products and pathogens from the brain. They're phagocytotic cells. What are the myelin producing cells on the Schwann cells? What is the function of the dendrites? They're only gonna receive their specialized appendages from the soma that receive signals. What is the function of nodes around the air? They're gonna be gaps in the myelin sheaths. They're gonna allow for propagation of the signal with the same intensity and speed down the axon. What is the function of the axon terminals? This is where neurotransmitters are going to be released in accordance with the like action potential. What is the synapse? The synapse is the gap between um, between two neurons where signal is propagated. Functional unit of an axon terminal, the synaptic cleft and a dendrite. What is the function of ependymal cells? And this is gonna produce CSF, and is it it nourishes neurons? Oh, lines of ventricles. Then, um, the astrocytes are gonna nourish neurons, I think. What is the function of the axon hillock? The axon hillock is going to um, wait 1 second. Let me see something. All right. Um, what is the function of the axon hillock? The function of the axon hillock is to generate the action potential. I don't know why it keeps defining things when that's not what it asked for. Autonomic and somatic. The four types of neuroglia are astrocytes, ependymal cells, microglia, and oligodendrocytes. What is the synapse? It is the functional unit consisting of the axon terminal, the synaptic cleft, and the dendrites. What is myelin, and what are the two functions of myelin? Um, what is myelin, and what are the two functions of myelin? Um, Myelin is it serves to it's a fatty white substance that surrounds the axon, and it can serve to insulate the axon and to speed up conduction. What is the function of astrocytes? Uh, Astrocytes are going to nourish the neurons, and uh, they're going to form the blood-brain barrier. What is the function of ependymal cells? It's going to line the ventricles and produce CSF as a shock absorber for the brain. What is the peripheral nervous system? Everything, nerves and ganglia outside the CNS. What is synaptic cleft? It is the gap between it is like the area where neurotransmitters are released into, and along this cleft, uh, I mean, you can also find some neuroglia in the cleft, but that's besides the point. Um, you release you release and receive from that synaptic cleft, like pretty likely, I think. Okay, it was a lot less. I pretty much know that though. The gap between both of them. Come on now. The three types of neurons. Um, efferent, afferent, and interneurons. Okay. Afferent are going um, away, like they're bringing signal. Are they bringing signal away from the central nervous system, like from the spine? Oh, these carry them to the central nervous system. Afferent bring it to. Afferent brings. Afferent carries sensory information from receptors to the CNS. Usually enter the from the dorsal or ventral side. Dorsal. Oh, that makes sense. The spine is on the dorsal side. So what are efferent neurons? Uh these are gonna bring like signals from the CNS to the what is it, to like motor stuff? Transmit motor information to effectors. Efferent, okay, to effectors. What are the three types of neurons? Afferent, efferent, and interneurons. What is the function of microglia? Um, what is the function of microglia? Uh, Microglia are hmm, these are going to damn, microglia are what is the function of microglia? Oh, these are gonna clear out their cytotic cells that are gonna clear the waste and pathogens from the CNS. What is the function of the node de Ranvier? They're gonna speed up conduction and they're gonna insulate the axon. They're just like gaps in the myelin sheets. These are oligodendrocytes. Afferent are gonna bring signals from the transmit sensory information from receptors to the CNS. Um, Enter from the dorsal side. What are efferent neurons? These are gonna bring transmit motor information from the CNS to the to effectors. What is the function of the cell body? It houses the nucleus and other organelles. Usually exit the spinal cord from, I'm assuming, the ventral side. What is the function of the axon? Um, the axon is going to transmit signals from the axon hillock to the target structure. What is what are interneurons? Um, okay, I have to add other questions. Okay. I realize it kind of loses some of the point when you change a fill in the blank question. When you change a like, I just don't want to have to make separate questions for it. Like, it just, what is an effector? Um, an effector, an effector is like a muscle or a gland, anything that can carry something out. An organ that responds to neurostimulation by producing a particular response. responds to neural stimulation by producing afferent efferent interneurons. Oh, sorry, I didn't read that properly. What is the function of ependymal cells? What is the purpose of what it produces? Ependymal cells are going to produce CSF. They're going to line the ventricles. CSF is going to support the brain and serve as a shock absorber. What is the function of astrocytes? Astrocytes are going to nourish neurons and form the blood-brain barrier. What is a nerve? Oh wow! Now it asks me. A nerve is just another way of saying a neuron, one of the cells of like the nervous system. A bundle of axons in the PNS. Okay. What are interneurons? Uh, what are interneurons? They're nerves that connect to other, or they're neurons that can connect to other neurons. Where are they located primarily? They're located primarily in the central nervous system, and they're linked to reflexive behavior. Let me change it to often, because I don't want to ever be thinking back on this card and be like, well, they're only linked to reflexive behavior. So, neurons found between. What is what is the function of the axon terminals? These are going to release neurotransmitters after receiving a signal from the axon. What is the function of the dendrites? They're going to receive signal. They're specialized appendages from the soma that receive incoming signal. What are the three types of nerves? It's going to be sensory, motor, and mixed. What is an effector? This is I don't know, it's something that can carry out a physiological, like it receives neurostimulation um, in order to carry out physiological or physical response. Organ that responds to the neurostimulation by producing a particular. Okay. What is a nerve? It is a bundle of axons in the PNS. What is a mixed nerve? It means that it's capable of providing sensory information and also uh, like I guess motor information, as axon bundles from motor neurons as well as sensory neurons. Nerve carrying both sensory and motor information. What are wait. Okay. What are interneurons? Interneurons are neurons between two different cell types, two other cell type, not cell types, neuron types. Where are they located primarily? They're located primarily in the CNS. They're often linked to reflexive behavior. What are three types of neurons? Sensory. Wait, no. Hold up. I'm getting them mixed up now. Um, yeah, I got completely mixed up. What is the synapse? It is a functional unit of the axon terminal, the synaptic cleft, and the dendrites. What is an effector? It is an organ that responds a to neural stimulation with a particular physiological or physical response. What is the function of the axon hillock to generate the action potential? What is a mixed nerve? A mixed nerve is it carries both motor and sensory information. What are afferent neurons? Afferent neurons are um, they carry uh, they carry sensory information from receptors to the CNS. What is myelin? It is a fatty white substance that surrounds the axon. It's gonna speed up conduction and insulate the axon. Four types of neuroglia: oligodendrocytes, astrocytes, ependymal cells, and microglia. Three types of neurons: efferent, and interneurons. Um, from the ventral side, what is a tract? I don't know. A bundle of axons in the CNS. What are the two main differences between tracts and nerves? One is in the CNS, the other one's in the PNS. Okay. What are the two sides of the spinal cord? I guess dorsal and ventral. What is the synaptic cleft? The synaptic cleft is the gap between the axon terminal and the dendrites. What is the difference between white matter and gray matter? I think it's a cell type. White matter is myelinated axons, or not. I guess not cell type then. Gray matter is the soma and dendrites. Myelinated axons versus because myelin. Okay. Gray matter is the soma and dendrites. Okay. What are the four divisions of the spinal cord? Um, you have, I'm gonna guess it's like cervical. There's like cervical, thoracic. I think that's the only two I remember. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral. Cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral. Okay. What is a tract? It's a bundle of axons in the CNS. Two main differences between tracts and nerves. Tracts are in the CNS, nerves are in the PNS. The the hold up 1 second, guys. What are the two main differences between tracts and nerves? And then nerves can only transmit one type of information. Tracts can only transmit one type of information. Nerves can transmit both. They can be mixed. What is the difference between white matter and gray matter? White matter is myelinated axons. Gray matter is like soma and the dendrites. What are the four? Cervical, thoracic, sacral, and lumbar. What is the function of microglia? Microglia are um, microglia. What is the function of microglia? Um, what is the function of microglia? Wow. First major zone out. Notice that 40 minutes on the dot. Okay. All right. I'm gonna need to start logging it. What is the function of microglia? And I could tell that zone out must have lasted a second because my thing that like the video that like lags behind of my stream, and like it was still showing me zoned out, which means that was like 2 minutes ago probably. What is the function of microglia? It's gonna clear out the waste products and the pathogens. They're also phagocytotic cells. Yes. What is a nerve? It is a bundle of axons in the PNS. Three types of nerves: afferent, efferent, interneurons. What are interneurons? They're neurons between two other types of neurons located primarily in the CNS, often linked to reflexive behavior. What are the functions of the nodes of Ranvier? It's to propagate the signal in a way that there are gaps. It's gaps in the myelin sheath that allow for propagation of the signal with the same intensity and speed. What are efferent neurons? These are going to send signals, send motor information from the CNS to effectors. They enter from the dorsal side. What is an effector? Like a muscle or a gland. These are organs that respond to neural stimulation with a particular physical or physiological response. What is the resting membrane potential? Numerically, like negative 70 millivolts, or like around negative 70 millivolts, I think, right? Yeah, I think so. What is the resting? It is the membrane potential that results from the, like, mostly from like the proteins the inside of the cell body due to charges moving. Electrical potential difference across the membrane due to charges moving. What is the resting potential? It's negative 70, I think. What is the function of astrocytes? Those are going to form the blood-brain barrier and nourish neurons. What are the two most important ions and explain the changes? This is potassium and sodium. Suspend. How does Na plus differ between the interior and exterior of the neurons? Well, I don't like. It's a lot larger on the exterior of the neuron. We could pretty much easy that one. What is the function of ependymal cells? What is the purpose of what it produces? Um, what is the function of ependymal cells? Ependymal cells are gonna line the ventricles and um, line the ventricles. Um, what is the function of ependymal cells? The function of ependymal cells is to produce. It's gonna line the ventricles, produce CSF, which is going to support the brain and serve as a shock absorber. What the? My charger isn't connected. When did that happen? I must have tripped over the cable or something earlier or something. I don't know. That's weird. Um. Okay, this is like a lot brighter now. What are the two sides of the dorsal and ventral? What is the resting membrane potential? The resting membrane potential is The membrane potential that results from moving charges inside the cell, or I guess charges moving in general. What is a tract? It's a bundle of axons in the CNS. What is the difference between white matter and gray matter? White matter is a bunch of myelinated axons, versus gray matter is the unmyelinated soma and dendrites. Um, what are the two main differences between tracts and nerves? Um, the two main differences: tracts are CNS, nerves are PNS. Um, as well as that the nerves can only handle one type of information. No, they can handle both. Tracts can handle one. For our cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral. From the ventral side, afferent neurons transmit information from the receptors to the CNS. Oh man, I didn't say what type of information. I'm gonna add that. That's kind of a hint as to the definition, but it's like I have to give myself that wrong. What is a resting membrane potential? It is the electrical potential difference that results from moving charges. Damn. What are the three types of neurons? Afferent, efferent, interneurons. It's higher inside the cell than outside. What's a mixed nerve? It can carry both sensory and motor information. What is an electrochemical gradient? Um, it's the gradient that results from both differences in concentration as well as a difference in like charge. Passive transport is diffusion. It is movement that requires no energy and that results from like a constant. Well, no, it could result from the electrochemical gradient generally too. It just has to require like transport that requires no energy. Okay, it says because of the concentration gradient. Let me look it up. Can passive transport be electrical? Use electrical gradient. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's most commonly thought of as its concentration gradient, but it's not necessarily. It just doesn't. It can be transported across the cell membrane just as long as it's not using energy. What are afferent neurons? What type of information? Um, Afferent neurons are gonna carry sensory information from the receptors to the CNS. What is the resting membrane potential? It's the electrical potential difference. Uh, electrical membrane, electrical membrane, electrical potential. I'm just gonna say electrical potential difference across the membrane that results from moving charges. What is the electrochemical gradient? It's the gradient that combines the effects of the electrical gradient as well as the chemical gradient, like the difference in concentration as well as the charges. What are leak channels? Leak channels are channels that are just open, like for usage. Like they don't. Leak channels use passive transport. They just allow like ions to exit. I don't think they're super specific, but I'm gonna give it again, but only because I said to exit, and that's not true. What is passive transport? Passive transport is uh, a transport across the membrane without the use of energy. What is meant by active transport? This is transport across the membrane that uses energy. What is Na A plus ATPase? Um, this is one of the molecules used. That this is one of the like largest um, energy requiring like ion pumps that exchanges. I think I'm gonna say three. I'm gonna say three for two. Like it's gonna exchange three Na plus for two K plus. I'm gonna say. I think, right, right, right. I think, right. Damn, I always get this stupid number, bro. Three. Oh wait. I got that right. That was right. Oh my god. I thought I was wrong. ATP plus ATP pump. Yeah, I was actually right. I'm surprised. What are leak channels? They use passive transport. They allow ions to go to follow their gradients. What is a nerve? It is a bundle of axons in the PNS. What are the three types of nerves? Afferent, efferent, interneuron. Oh man. How do the number of sodium and potassium ions change in the cell with one pump of the sodium potassium pump? Um, well, it kind of just said it. It like the other definition said this. It's like three you have three, you pump out three sodium for every two that you bring in. What is an action potential? An action potential is um it's an electric signal that um I don't even know how to describe this, bro. All or nothing electrical impulse conducted down axons to communicate with other cells. What are interneurons? Interneurons are neurons between two other neurons of like different types, I guess, of a different type or different types. Where are they located? Primarily in the CNS. They're often linked to reflexive behavior. Negative 70 millivolts. What is an effector? An effector is an organ that receives neural stimulation and um, receives a specific in order to output a specific physical or physiological response. I'm using such interesting words. Sensory, motor, and mixed. What are the stages of the action potential? Um, Hold up, I might have this. Stages of the action potential is gonna be, if I like draw it, it might be like this. Or this is like baseline. This is gonna be like the threshold. So it's gonna go like this, and then go like this, undershoot, and then boom. Okay, so this, like, I guess, rising phase, falling phase, undershoot, and then like repolarization. Oh damn. Resting stage, resting stage. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. You can't even lie. I low key did that. I did that to kind of nice off the dome. Damn. I use repolariz. I did use repolarization wrong, but um. So resting stage. Uh, resting stage. Stimuli try to be polarized. I'm not gonna mind the resting stage. I'm not explaining that. Voltage gated um channels, gated channels. Voltage gated any plus channels open until positive 30 millivolts. Voltage gated K plus channels open and the Na plus channels closed. Excess efflux of K plus. What is an action potential? An action potential is an all or nothing electrical impulse that conducts down the axon in order to send signals to other cells. What is the resting membrane potential? The resting membrane potential is an electrical potential difference across the membrane that's caused by moving charges. What if cervical, thoracic, sacral, and lumbar? What are the two main differences between tracts and nerves? Tracts can only carry one type of information. They're also in the CNS. Nerves can carry multiple types. They're in the PNS. What are the two sides of the dorsal and ventral? What is a tract? A tract is um, a tract is um, hmm. A tract is a bundle of axons in the CNS. White matter is myelinated uh, myelinated axons versus the soma and dendrites. Stages of the action potential. So you're gonna have the resting stage. You're gonna have the depolarization up until 30 millivolts. That's from Na plus coming in, and then you're gonna have the uh, hyperpolarization and undershoot. Uh, it's probably like right here. This is gonna be like the resting potential. This is gonna be 0 or something like that. I don't know. That's like a really high line. I didn't mean to put that line that high. Probably something like that. Um, that's definitely not 0. I don't know what the hell I'm drawing, bro. No, yeah, I think I drew that right, bro. Yeah, it definitely goes under -70. Um, and then it slowly comes back up. So, um, What are and then so this is Na plus coming in. This is K plus going out. When Na plus comes in, Na plus the Na channel is just open. Then when you start this, the Na plus channels are gonna close and the K plus channels are gonna open, and that's what causes all this. And then this happens when this repolarization is gonna occur when the K plus channels close. Um, what is Na plus K plus ATPase? Biggest energy user, it pumps three Na plus out for every two K plus that it takes in. It's an ATP ion pump. How does the K plus? K plus is going to be higher, much higher inside. How do the number of sodium and potassium ions change in the cell? Uh, yeah, so it's going to be three potassium, or two potassium coming in for every three sodium that go out. What are afferent? They bring sensory information from the receptors to the CNS. Will every stimulus the neuron receives trigger? Absolutely not. I'm gonna suspend this card. What is an electrochemical gradient? An electrochemical gradient is it's a gradient that is the combination of both electricity as well as I think we're gonna leave these 50 for tomorrow. The other 50 for tomorrow. We're not gonna stop there, but um we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna finish off the 10 cards that we have left. Um what is an electrochemical gradient? And then we're gonna do Jack Weston, and that's gonna be it. Uh, what is an electrochemical gradient? An electrochemical gradient is. Oh, let me actually see something. Hold up. We had 50 cards left. Listen. Yeah, I really like the next 50 cards. The next 50 cards, they're like some of them are a little crazy, but for the most part, they shouldn't be that bad. What is an electrochemical gradient? Um, an electrochemical gradient is what is an electrochemical? Yeah, so it's a combination of both. What is passive transport? Passive transport is what is passive transport? Um, what is passive transport? Oh, it moves across the cell membrane without use of energy. What is meant by active transport? Active transport, it uses energy. Um, they use passive transport, bro. They just let ions follow their gradient. Nitrogen potential is an all or nothing electrical impulse used to uh, communicate with other cells that's conducted down the axon. What are three types of nerves? Sensory, motor, and mixed. It's the electrical potential membrane. Uh, what? That's electrical potential difference across the membrane that electrical potential difference across the membrane that um, electrical potential difference across the membrane. Uh, oh, that's due to moving charges. What are stages of the action potential? So you're gonna have the depolarization, the hyperpolarization, and then the repolarization. In the depolarization, the Na plus channel is open, so Na plus goes in. Then K plus is gonna go out because the K plus channel is open, and then once they close, that is when repolarization is gonna come in. I wasn't really saying numbers. I'm gonna give myself an again, but I want to say I just want the numbers. I think that's important. Na plus, K plus, ATPase. Um, uh, Na plus, K plus, ATPase. It's a channel that exchanges three Na plus for two K plus, and they're moving them against their concentration gradients. It's an obviously ATP ion pump. Um, Three sodium for two potassium. What is an action potential? An all or nothing electrical impulse conducted down the axon to communicate with other cells. You're gonna have the resting phase is just nothing happened. Depolarization, past the threshold. Depolarization past the threshold up until 30 millivolts is going to be Na plus. Na plus coming into the cell because the Na plus voltage gated channels had open, and then the K plus channels open and the Na plus channels close. Is going to go down below -70. This is the undershoot, and then once those K plus voltage gated channels close, it's going to come back up to the resting stage phase, whatever. Okay. All right. We suspended 5. Not bad. Uh, all right. Let's go to our Jack Weston. Let's go to Jack Weston right quick. Um, uh, I'm gonna do today's passage. Uh, um, Google Chrome.